Hey y'all, good morning. So today is a time of rest for me. And I am learning that there are times when we don't need to just rest, like sleep or just relax for a moment, but we need to rest in God. Like we need to rest with the Holy Spirit and allow our resting to cleanse us from the inside out, because a lot of the things that we wrestle with are because of what's within us, okay? And sometimes God says that we need to, as Rochelle say, get back in our closet and figure out what really works, okay? Like, how can I have an intimate relationship with you, God? What's the best way for us to communicate? Because I don't ever really want to miss a moment of communication with you. So I was sitting there and I dozed off, and in the dream, I could see the insecurities that I try to hide. And a lot of those insecurities are things from my past, things that I promised myself that I would never be or I would never do, okay, again. Simply because I learned the lesson. I learned what it was like to have to go through those things. I learned what it felt like afterwards too, because sometimes while we going through it, we think it's okay. And then afterwards you think you could just throw it in the trash and be done with it. But no, it doesn't work like that. So there were so many things that was going through my mind, and all of them stem back to one word, which was fear. Okay. Um, and crazy enough, I got up this morning, I was listening to a message, and I'll post it in the group as well, where she was talking about you know we it's time for us to not be afraid. Like, in order for us to move forward, we cannot be afraid. Like, we have to be able to take that extra step, go that extra mile, look the enemy in the face and tell him he's a liar. Like, you will not have my children. You will not have my marriage. You will not have my household. You will not have my family. You will not tell me that I have cancer. You will not allow me, I will not allow myself to be dictated by fear. Okay. Um, I was sitting there, and all of a sudden it was like, you need to write down everything right now that you fear, everything that you saw in that dream. You need to write down everything that you fear. Okay. And these fears are not really something that we should be afraid of. They're just simply strongholds that are on our lives and in our minds and within our spirits that we've been carrying, that we never broke away from. You might have thought that you broke away from certain strongholds, but if you didn't actually release those things and release the things that were attached to them, because sometimes we could still be holding on to fear of something that someone else did, that it didn't even have anything to do with us, but we were connected to that person in that season, and so it was attached to us as well. So, whew, y'all, it's a lot. It's a lot. I don't feel overwhelmed by it, but I did feel this sense of urgency to write everything down, to share that we're not afraid. We are not afraid anymore, okay? And um the other thing was that I felt like I was being attacked. Like, I saw these people. It was like right now it's raining outside, it's storming, okay? So when I went to sleep, the rain was really coming down and it was really storming. And when in my dream, I saw these people, like, I know my doors were locked. It was like I was in this house right here, but I know my doors were locked. And then I looked again and the door was open. And I was like, how the heck did my door get open? And then come to find out, I'm thinking somebody's in the house, but it was these people trying to get in the house. They were in these yellow suits looking like hazmat people or something. I don't know. And I turned around and I was like, no. I was like, what do y'all want? Like, don't come in here. And I saw there was a lock on my screen, which we don't actually have a screen door at our door. Okay. So, it was like we had a screen door in the dream, and I could see the lock on or lock off button. And before, when I went to the door, they walked away. But because I saw them walking away and I feared that I was missing out on some information about a storm or something that was coming towards me, I almost let the enemy in. Okay. And I remember seeing that lock button that say lock on or lock off, and I hurry up and I pushed the lock on, pushed it down to put the lock on the screen, but it seemed like they were like reaching through the screen to like try to get the door because they were trying to get in, and I just kept yelling, no, no, go away, no, go away. And the fear that I felt woke me up out of my sleep. Okay, because it was almost like God was showing me sometimes when the enemy is leaving us alone, we crack the door open and invite him back because we feel like we're going to miss out on something, or we feel like we're going to lose out on something, or we're going to miss something, or it's just going to pass us by. Something's going to pass us by. But God was saying, if you had trusted me and you trusted what I told you, that I will never leave you nor forsake you, that you don't have to fear, that fear is not of me, okay? Then I wouldn't have opened that door back. I would not have opened that door back. But I opened the door back, and then the enemy was trying to get in because I left the door cracked open. So I'm telling you right now, we need to take inventory on what those fears are that we have, because those fears are simply strongholds, and they don't have to be fears that take over our lives. They don't have to be fears that make us feel inadequate. They don't have to be fears that hold us down from reaching goals. Like, we have to understand that those fears are just obstacles, like, that we have to overcome. And once you overcome those obstacles, then you can move forward. So I wrote down a list in my phone of things that I know are like strongholds for me. And I just pray, my prayer for each of us is that, as God begins to show us these fears and they go away, that we don't open the door back to invite the enemy back in as if we're missing something, okay? Because you can't get used to being operative in those fears, okay? Operating in those fears, being functional in those fears, okay? So, yeah, thank you, Holy Spirit. Putting on a smile even with those fears, acting like you got it together even with those fears and inadequacies and strongholds. But when people see you, they don't see none of that. Okay? But we worry about what other people see, but not what God sees. Right? So, y'all, I prayed, I asked God to begin speaking to me to help me to understand what it is that I need to be doing in this season, who it is that I need to be in order for him to do the type of work that he wants to do within me and through me. So yeah, once y'all break those strongholds, don't invite the enemy to come back. As you see the enemy going away, as you see these strongholds being broken and torn away from your life, do not invite the enemy to come back because you're afraid of missing out on something. Okay? So, y'all, that's all I wanted to share. I was sitting here and it was storming, and like literally when I got it, the sun came out, y'all. is no lie. I started singing the song, "The storm is passing over. The storm is passing over." Like, I literally had that song in my spirit because it was like, I just, you got it. Like, daughter, you got it. You got it. And it's like I could feel how proud my daddy is of me for getting it, for being able to tap into those things that I fear so much within me, not so much of, things that I feel like is going to happen, but it's a fear that I have of things that I can do or things that I shouldn't do. So, y'all, God ain't playing around. Like, he wants our attention. He wants our undivided attention, our full attention. And like we talked about last night on the call, like, what are you willing to give up? What is it going to cost you in order for you to get to where it is that you desire to be? In order for you to be able to have that closer relationship with God. Okay? What are some things that you got to get rid of? What are some of those chains that you got to break off of you? But yeah, this was my moment and I'm so grateful for it. But I feel like I want to be wide awake, but I still feel like my body want to go back to sleep. So I'm just going to lay here and relax and see what happens. But I hope that you have a great and productive day. And yeah, I hope this word bless y'all. Talk to y'all later. Bye.